Welcome to another show, Beyond the Dumbbells. I'm Brian Sweeney.
I'm Jenny Sweeney.
Hopefully this will be entertaining. We've got a great topic. Nothing too serious. We give a lot of opinion. This is more of an opinion show than anything else. Never has there been guidance given that we didn't do ourselves. So I guess
Truth.
That's a good place to start. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about stress. Stress, like, where have you been for the last couple of weeks?
Exactly. Stressed out in a dark hole.
So we've had conversations before about the hormone cascade that follows when you get stressed out, what it does to your body, what it does to your mind, your relationships. There's all kinds of things that stress can invade on. And if you don't have underlying routine and predictability in your day, I'm a guy that's terrible. If I see something that comes out of nowhere, I plan everything in my head. I'm not much of a make a schedule, make a list type of a person, but I've got a good idea as to which plates are spinning and where I need to go before the plate falls.
Right.
So when something unexpected comes, it rocks my world, especially if there's not an immediate resolution.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
If I don't have a way
solution.
if I don't have a way to fix something, small things that don't matter, where if it's just going to interfere with us, we can roll. But if it's interfering with people that we care about and support, and that affects how we support them, that's where things really go sideways. But there's a lot of things I think there's a high level conversation about stress that everyone thinks they understand. And then there's the stress that people go through where you don't really know what's going on in their lives. So you don't know when someone's just at their last, the end of the rope.
Right.
It's the last step before a snap happens.
Oh, yeah. I think the craziest thing with this is if you look at the two of us, we were talking about like your stress you see. Like when you look at you, you can tell that you're stressed. It's usually when people say like, oh my gosh, your eyebrows are down and you've got, I'm not going to give everybody your little cues, but I know all of your triggers and what you do when you're stressed out. And they're very, very specific. And then for me, I can almost put like I'm not stressed mask on, but the inside of me is where it all hangs up. So it's like, awesome. All right, this is great. And so my words can be like, no, not stressed. I'm great. I feel amazing. It's great. But then inside is, so we're the exact opposite in what stress looks like on us.
You're also one that after the fact, after the event or the stressful thing, usually you've got a coming down period about a day or two later to where you'll have just an exhaustive phase. Your body chemistry has just been altered significantly, and there's a fallout, right? There's a price for it.
Yes.
Thousands of years ago, you'd went and crawled into your cave. But now we just endure. So
maybe I need a cave. That'd be pretty good.
We've leaned on a lot of people, and we'll share some because the whole point of this show is we're going to be honest and upfront, transparent. You're never going to hear us talk about how great things are all the time, and that
gosh, no.
Everything is winning and everything is forward movement and everything's momentum. Anyone that's feeding you that kind of crap all the time is full of crap, because life is about learning. You don't learning unless you're challenged.
Yep.
Some challenges are more uncomfortable than others. If it's personal, relationship, business, school, whatever your challenges are, nobody exists in homeostasis. It doesn't happen. And most people are good at just BSing themselves. And thanks to social media, BSing everybody else in the world about how perfect their marriage is and how perfect their jobs are and their businesses. Everything's so great, but then behind closed doors, they're, collecting fingernails and hair clippings from the barber. Something wacky. So it's not always what it is. So what you're going to get from us is just transparency. We're going to be upfront with you and we'll share it, because the obstacles that we've hit, we all think it's bad. And in our own cases, the stress that hits our lives, we think it's as bad as it can get.
Of course we do.
And that's not the case, right?
No.
We all deal with some pretty relative stuff.
No, exactly. And I can't remember what the number is, but there's like an expression that it's like, like 1% of your day could be bad or stressful, but that 1%, you almost can't get over yourself or the situation to realize everything outside of that moment or that person or situation is pretty freaking amazing. But you're letting that one thing kind of ruin your day or your week or your month.
It's like getting upset at your life and you've got a hangnail.
Exactly.
Something insignificant, but all of a sudden it's got all of your attention.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, we could lots of stories on that. I have a lot of hangnails in my life. All right, so we've been very generic about this whole conversation so far. Not a lot of details, but in small business, there are periods where you can't imagine doing anything else, and it's the greatest high, and it's the greatest thing you've ever been gifted is to have a small business that survives.
Yes.
Right, and back in the day. Oh, your business, you made it a year. Happy birthday, you're on your way. And then it was like, well, 1 year's not really good enough. Everybody can limp a business along for a year.
Right.
Then it's 3 years. Oh, wow, look at you. You're 3 years.
Exactly.
You might get a credit card now because, you're not just a one-night flash in the pan success. Then it went to 5 years. And it's like, well, really, we can't really tell until 5 years.
Yep.
Well, we hit 5, and then you go to 7, and all of a sudden, I guess in business, there's a 7-year itch. Right. Then all of a sudden now people are like, wow, 7 years. This sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. But the highs in business are super high, and the lows are very lonely in business, right? And when I'm calling business, and I'm not talking about people that are able to generate some money on the side, they've got side hustles. If your business is providing for your lifestyle.
Yes.
And when I say lifestyle, we're not talking about Lambos and freaking beach houses.
No.
We're talking about paying your bills.
Exactly.
That's lifestyle.
Exactly. Like you can actually afford to go to the grocery store.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're not up to your eyeballs in credit card debt.
Exactly.
There's financial lifestyle. But some people, there's two things. I can already tell this conversation is not going to go where I wanted it to because now the pan is heating up and there's some stuff bubbling up.
Uh-oh. You're going to get twitchy.
So I'm rubbing my eye right now. And I'm absolutely getting twitchy. So the stress that comes with small business, entrepreneurs, I know you don't love that word, entrepreneur, but they are a special breed because they like pain. They like challenges and they like pain. And they're willing to get up and keep getting punched in the face.
Well, but entrepreneurs.
Right.
Yeah. But that is, and we laugh all the time because this was, our small business came from a dream from you. And if it would have depended on my dream, I can't imagine where we'd be.
Right.
But the mindset that you have, because you are absolutely one, the pain means that you're going to grow from it, learn from it, and the result's going to be better. So like you're like, oh, I've got a challenge and a problem. And when I'm on the other side of it, it's going to be so awesome.
Adapt and overcome.
Yeah.
And the funny thing if you've got that business mindset, you're always thinking about building something new. And when things get difficult, you're like, it'd be so much better to just go build something new and just leave this one alone. Entrepreneurs are great at starting businesses. They don't always have the grit to run a business, right? And that's where the challenges that come from business, you have to be able to grow.
Yes.
And to do that, and we've seen this in our own, is that you've got to rely on people, and people are what's messy.
Yes.
Because you can't predict where things are going to go, how they're going to go. And if you feather in the idea, this is for all you business people out there that are running something or trying to get something off the ground, or you've got a vision that you're going to do it someday. People are the greatest commodity in your business. It's not your idea. It's the people that you surround yourself with.
Right.
They will not be with you forever.
No.
Okay, so don't get comfortable expecting that these people are all going to do life with you. It's just not realistic. And a lot of people think, well, as long as I'm going to be in the mix, I'm going to have these people to lean on all the time. The biggest thing I've seen with most of our gym friends that struggle, it's a staffing problem.
Yes.
It's people, right? And so to be able to keep all these things going, and you've got to have the right person that can run on the right steam, contribute the right amount with the right amount of encouragement and the right amount of education and teaching. And these are the things that have kind of impaired our business, right, over the last 60 days.
Right.
And typically, this isn't supposed to be therapy for the Sweeneys. This is just trying to lay out how something that if you're not ready to manage stress in your life and you don't have a way to manage it, it's going to rock you and it's going to knock you off your feet.
Yeah.
And you will be sitting on the ground saying, what the hell just happened?
No, and the intent of these is not to be like, oh, poor us either. It's just I think sometimes in the business world, you feel like you're alone and that It seems like sometimes everybody else around you, it's like, they're flying high and it's like, my gosh, I'm alone on this, sad little island, and you're not. So when you can start to share with people, it's like, oh my gosh, they may feel I'm not alone. And we're very lucky to have friends who have gyms, because we can say, this is what we're dealing with. And they're like, oh my gosh, I did too.
Everybody's struggling. And
they help you overcome. They help us overcome.
Not having those connections in business, it would have made our struggles much harder, because you don't see what other people are going through, because everyone's bullshitting themselves and everything else online.
Yes.
So how we cope with stress. So
Right.
obviously this is where we haven't done a show in 3 weeks, and that's mostly because we have not been able to anticipate the obstacles and challenges that came at us very quickly and with pretty decent ramifications.
Yes.
Everything's still running, everything's still standing, everything's still great, but the schedules and the expectations, and there was no planning, and there was no way to, put the fires out
Right.
quickly. So the things that we do that we enjoy, like the show, there's certain things that ended up just we had to put pause on for just a short minute. And when we were talking about putting the show together today, we had all kinds of different topics, but one of them, transparency is key, is like what's going on in our lives and how we manage stress. And we'll wrap this whole thing out to kind of what we're doing, going to do, what we failed at, the things that made it worse. But that's the outcome of this. And if you're going through some stress now, and again, I know we've talked about it a little bit, but I hear a lot more people upset and stressed out than anything else.
Right. No, I absolutely agree.
So with you and the way you manage stress by you internalize, and I'm the guy that wants to punch holes in the wall.
Right.
Physical release for me, emotional release for you.
Right.
I think the number one way in dealing with stress is to figure out which one you are. If you're in a relationship where you're both door slammers and hole punchers, that's a problem, right? Because the other person, you can always tell when I'm having a moment because it's physically on me.
Yes.
You're poker face. You don't want to add to my stress. You'll hide yours.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not good. Long term, you can't do that for long.
No.
Because
Of course not.
it'll start to wear things down.
Yes. But I think in the moment, those nice things is, for like us, if you can tell I'm stressed or I can tell you are stressed, we kind of let each other release that stress how we need to. I mean, we joke all the time about let's go upstairs and scream into a pillow just so you don't add something on to in our case, we'll use this as business partners.
Yeah.
Like as business partners, you've got to just respect that each other is different enough in how we deal with things like stresses and try not to add to it, even if it means just taking a moment and disappearing from the room and just saying like, I'm not going to add to it because you know what? It looked really good when he punched the wall. Maybe I should punch the wall too.
For the record, I've never screamed into a pillow. I don't pillow scream.
I can't say that.
If I'm screaming into a pillow, something's wrong.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Really?
No, but more holes. I had more posters growing up. And that's been that way for me since I was a kid. I kept putting up posters, and I don't think it was until I moved out that my family figured out there was holes behind every one of them.
Exactly. And no, at our gym, there are not banners up because there are holes in the walls.
No, there's no
in case
holes back
anybody's
there.
wondering.
No.
You all can peek behind them.
That's right. So, one, identify the type of stress person you are. I have actually heard of the physical stressor, the person where it just builds up with lots of adrenaline, lots of energy, unreleased energy, can wear you down, and that is to clench your fists, tighten up your entire body for one huge contraction.
Okay.
Squeeze your hand so hard that you're just about shaking, and try to hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. You're still breathing. Don't let your blood pressure pop up so your eyes pop out of your head.
Right.
But the idea is you want to expel as much of that adrenaline and energy as you can. And in one big contraction, you can let some of that go. So
That's brilliant.
That is something I've had to do, where you just want to, because the energy and the hormones and the chemicals, they will steal your attention, and they'll run you down a path of just negative thought,
Right.
Compounding thought. Where you start playing out stuff in your head. So if you're a physical stressor person, try that whole release, big body contraction, sit in your chair and just squeeze. Don't bite your teeth down. Don't crack your teeth, kind of a thing.
Right.
But, and for you, you're talking about maybe take a minute, scream into a pillow.
Exactly. But I think that's the same thing as what you were saying. It's kind of just that release that you need to get rid of it. I mean, one of my big stress reliefs is, I will go and I'm going to find the saddest movie that I can possibly find, or the movie that is going to make you sob to the point where you can't, well, not you, but me. Like, I have to get it out. And as soon as I do, I'm like, all right, what's next?
That's the type of person you are, and it works.
It
but
does work.
you've got to have those, and if you don't have those moments where you can release, it's going to get worse. The second one is, and this was an idea you came up with, failed expectations on people, on things, on whatever it is. And in the world, you just can't go shooting your mouth off saying what you want.
Yes.
I would be completely isolated if I did that. Nobody would ever talk to me again.
Maybe just me.
No, I've never even let you hear some of the stuff in my head. But you were talking about writing some of it down.
Yes.
I mean, I've done that in the past where you write an email to someone that you're just like, I'm going to tell this dude off so
It's
bad.
my favorite thing in the whole world to do.
I've written a 500-word email, 1,000-word
Yes.
emails, and then deleted it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh!
Exactly. Like, you never ever put the address in the email thing.
No, in case you accidentally, subconsciously hit send.
Exactly.
But-
no, you never want to find a recipient.
Write it out.
Yes.
Every cuss word, upsettedness,
Including if it's irrational and stupid.
I have lots of doodles that say F you on them
Yes.
when I was talking to people. My other favorite thing was, I shouldn't tell this one. If you ever catch me with both my hands in my pockets, that's me giving you the finger.
Exactly.
Because both fingers are out. And it makes me feel better in that moment. So I got you. So you identified what type of a stressor you are, kind of a clever way to release, and then to try to write things down and just express yourself to the point where you wouldn't have to worry about anyone, what they said, what they thought, because you're just writing to yourself.
Yes.
You were talking about a diary. I would never want
seriousness.
any. No, so I would write it and shred it.
Yep.
I would never want record of me being that ugly. For me to go back and look at it.
No, and I don't know if I ever would. I probably would do the same thing. It's like a diary, but you shred it. Like you almost write it, and I don't think I'd ever look at it again. So I think I probably would shred, because then, to me, you're just going to get lathered up and spun up again by going like, I was pissed at 8:30 last night over this, and you know what? I'm going to be pissed again. It's like,
I don't want
that's
reminders.
stupid.
I don't want reminders.
No.
Now I brought up business and the entrepreneur thing because those types of people, I think, can generate more stress in their minds. I'm not saying that there isn't mom stress and dad stress and job stress and kid stress. Everyone's got their own. But if you're a thinking mind that can't keep your eye on the target because you're always looking forward,
Yes.
it is painful to have to look backwards and fix things. It's like, no, I want to go forward. I don't want to be here. I want to go, I want to keep moving.
Right.
And when you have to address things that are local and in front of you and you can't, that's where, as a business mindset person, A-type personality, hunter-gatherer, they need action and they have to be able to do things immediately.
Oh, yeah. And at the same time, you have to remember, we're talking about business people where you are responsible for your family's well-being. This is not like I didn't get to the grocery store and get somebody's favorite food. This is, we've got a business and we're stressed out and we're freaked out and stuff. And while we're dealing with a stressor that we couldn't have anticipated, you still have to look and plan ahead. So you can't live in the present and the past and deal with things. You are still having to take a step ahead because you want to be able to pay your mortgage next month.
Well, and a lot of times you just have to, you're right, you have to move forward.
Exactly.
You're not allowed to sit around and
You can't
fidget with it.
No, you can't wallow in it, and you can't say like, I'm so, I'm ticked off at my boss or whatever, because you are your boss. It's like, so you can't point the finger to anybody else too. Like, you can't say, yes, we have had, the last 60 days has been odd in our gym, to say the least. And there are things that were so completely out of our control that they don't even seem real to me right now, to be honest. But at the same time, in dealing with, I'm not going to say the word I was thinking of, in dealing with bad people, we still have to build our business, or you and I have to figure out what we're going to do with our life.
It's extreme ownership.
Yes.
At the end of the day, I don't blame anybody because at the end of the day, it's on me whether we succeed or, well, let me back that up. It's on God whether we succeed or
Yes.
fail. but it's on me as the steward of what we do
Yes.
to accept that outcome.
Yep.
But you can't point fingers, you can't blame.
No.
And these are the types of things that I hear from my mentors and the people that we follow in the circles that we're in. As soon as you start blaming and not taking responsibility, you're already done.
Yep.
So the hiccups and the lessons that we learned, we brought this up too. Life is always about change. It's always about, you're going to hit an obstacle. You've got to find your lesson in the middle of the darkness, figure out what it is you're supposed to learn. So that's, I guess, the fourth thing. I think we're up to four. What is it you're supposed to learn out of the moment that you're in?
Right.
There's something, a lot of times it's not something we want to hear, so we ignore it.
No.
But if there's a lesson to be learned, you've got to find it. And grow from it.
Yep.
If you don't grow, then you're just God will keep putting that problem in front of you over and over and over again until you realize this is what I'm supposed to fix.
Exactly.
And that's hard because who wants to keep getting spanked for the same thing?
No, I agree. And you're absolutely right. And I don't think you and I have ever really played the blame game, except for, we say for ourselves, we've taken our eye off the ball, or we've allowed situations in our life where we should have been like, we found out X and we should have done Y, and we're like, oh man, but if we react to the situation, then that's going to make something harder on us. And in the end, the outcome's always the same. So we let that stress and stuff build up and build up and build up and take our eye away from more important things, when if we just would have dealt with it, the stress would have been over 30 days ago.
You've got to keep moving forward. You got to keep looking ahead.
Yeah.
So living in the past is just as stupid as living in the future. And I'm guilty of this. I don't look at the past a whole lot. It's like, all right, that's a mistake. That's just, I don't do many things that I don't think through. Everything's very thought out before I open my mouth, 99.9% of the time. If it comes out and it's bad, just take heart that I thought about it a lot before I said it. All right. So it wasn't from the hip.
And you actually dialed it back.
That's right. And for all parties involved, I bit my tongue. And I'm guilty of this, but if you're constantly looking forward at something that hasn't happened and that's contributing to the stress in your present moment, that's just dumb ass. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to get that worked up. And you brought up a great point. It was just earlier. You might not even be alive on that day.
I know.
You might be dead by Wednesday.
I know. And
why get wrapped up around Thursday?
Exactly. So it is exactly what I was saying. So we were talking about, so we had, I would say, just like almost like a come to Jesus for ourselves, where it was like, you know what, we need to start just taking some time and just doing us. And it was like, we can't, there's always stress in life that we bring on ourselves or we don't. And there's always things to do. And I don't think anybody's ever caught up on life where you're just kicking back like every day's vacation. But it's like, if you're walking around with all the stress and stuff, it really is okay to just kind of put a hold on stuff and go out and have brunch with your person. Like, it's okay to not cut the grass on the day you usually do, or get the bathroom clean right in that exact moment. Or it really is okay to take kind of a pause and just go enjoy your life for a second and get to the other. It doesn't matter. If the grass isn't cut for 2 more days, even if it looks like a swamp, if it's not cut, it doesn't actually impact anything.
Don't let that add to your pile.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what you were saying about taking off, especially someone that I don't know if I want to say that. Am I a control freak? I don't think I'm a predictability freak. I can't. I already said it.
I think that's fair.
I can't. I don't do well with unpredictability.
No.
And so I think I have a decent handle on the lay of the land. But one thing that you just brought up is to be able for me to feel like I'm in control of aspects of my life where it seems like everything else is dictating my life to me.
Yes.
Again, welcome to small business. By doing something spontaneous and jumping out of your norm. And that was where we started doing that. So that's probably the next tip for us, is to find a way to disengage from your life.
Yes.
And a lot of times we wait till vacation to do this. And you come back from vacation, you're like, man, that was awesome. You hid from your life for a little while. That's needed to recharge and refresh and everything. But during life, when you're doing regular time, you can't always go on vacation. So you're not going to have to be, some people get one vacation a year.
Right.
We've made it a point to get away enough that we're not aging ourselves rapidly.
Right.
You've got to, if you're going to work 14, 15 hours a day, that's a double timetable on the work. You have to insert more time away from that routine. Yes. Otherwise, you can't run that hard at that long and be productive.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Okay. And again, entrepreneurial mindset, I'm happiest thinking about work. I mean, so I like being in that spot. It's the unpredictability of it.
Yeah.
But find an element or find an opportunity in your life with your person or your people and do something out of the routine. Don't mow the grass on a Saturday morning.
Yes.
Go hiking.
Yes.
Out of nowhere. Get out. Go do something different because it's easy to forget that you've got a life and that you're meant to go live it. And we get so caught up into the routine and doing the grind that you feel locked in. You're like, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I'm in a tunnel doing something that is wearing me down with people that are wearing me down, and I have no control over my life. You do have control.
Yes. And not to be morbid, but I mean, our whole life is based on, living a healthy lifestyle and stuff. You're a doctor's visit away. We are all a doctor's visit away from finding out something's wrong.
Yep.
And I will not get to the end of my life and be like, well, my husband really wanted to go see a movie on Sunday afternoon, but my laundry pile was stacked up. So I said no. There is always time for that stuff, but there is not always the time. We don't know how long we get with each other. So if somebody is important to you to spend the time with, you can go do it. And this is something we definitely need to embrace more of just, it's not, if somebody says, do you have time for a cup of coffee? Do you have time every day? Of course not. There are absolutely things that will take priority in life because they have to, but don't always say no. Like every once in a while, it's okay to take an hour out of your day and spend it with a friend. It really is.
So do something to get out of the routine.
Exactly.
If you need a break from it.
Yes.
You inspired a thought, and then I lost it. It seemed profound at that moment. No, it'll come back.
Exactly. Stress.
Then we talked before about what it can do to you physically. It's no joke. And I don't remember what show it was, somewhere in the 20s. What carrying around a hormone stress all the time can do to your body, age you faster, wear your systems out, shrink your brain, make you that grumpy, get off my lawn type of a person.
Right.
It will happen. And the longer you stay in that spot. Other things, breathing techniques, spend 3 to 5 minutes cycling in big breaths and then slow letting them out, finding a spot to read, finding an opportunity to be quiet. It used to be meditate, do meditation, do yoga, no one's got time for that. And to be honest, if you are down to 24 hours in a day, you're spending time doing your grocery shopping, your work, your exercise, you're not going to find 90 minutes to go sit around somewhere and meditate. That's not there anymore. I have to get up a little earlier in the mornings to find a 20 to 30 minute pocket where all I hear is the wildlife outside.
Yep.
The doors are open and I just sit. But it's got to be first thing in the morning because everyone else is after your time after that. But you've got to find a pocket that's yours, that you control. And unfortunately, earlier is always better because if you wait till the end of the day, all it's going to take is one bad commute home and then that's gone.
Oh, yeah. And I like that yours is never on like technology where you get notifications of things. So you won't jump into your email as part of your quiet time, or you won't check your phone. Like it's just this before the day gets away. Because that's another thing. It could just be one email that's like, oh man, I really wish I wouldn't have seen that because now it's all I can think of. So for me,
Don't check your email at night either.
Exactly. So like I read on my iPad, but it's always on airplane mode and do not disturb because my book will still pull up.
Yep.
So you make sure that those notifications don't come across. I don't flip my phone over until I know that I am actually ready to see whatever is there waiting for me. Like it's just those.
They rob your mind.
Yes.
And they direct your attention. So you're 100% right. My phone, it's on Do Not Disturb 24/7.
Exactly.
I just turned off now. And I won't let that thing dictate where my attention goes.
Yes.
And the only way I could do that was to put it on Do Not Disturb, which is why if you've ever tried to get a hold of me, I don't answer the phone.
And then, which is why we've said this before, like if you are close to us, it means you also have my phone number. And then I call and I'm like, hi. Yes, Brian is right here.
Are you the gatekeeper?
I am the gatekeeper.
That's right. So, other than that, some tactics, we're all still going through it. Find your space. I'm telling you, that's worth the gold. You have to get to bed early.
Yes.
Yeah, as much as a lot of my people, especially those that I'm working with personally, the one-on-one clients that I have that are struggling to lose weight, it all starts, if you back it up, well, if you sleep like crap, you feel like crap. Yes. When you're not rested, your mind is more sensitive to the environment and to people. And then you make bad food decisions, and then you feel like crap, and then you sleep like crap again the next night. Yep. And then the cycle goes on. But if your foundation's not in place, you will always be a victim of unpredictable stress. And no one wants to fight bed more than me. I cannot stand going to bed when the light's still out.
You're like a kid.
There's kids playing in the yard and I'm in bed. I mean, I'm not that old yet. So, but 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, we got to start talking about getting ready for bed.
Yeah.
We're in bed no later than 8:15, 8:30.
Yeah.
And if it gets later than that, I know my next day is in trouble.
Exactly.
And it's got nothing to do with the exercise, but your mind needs the rest now more than the body.
And I think with everything in life, if you set yourself up for success as far as dealing with potential stress, I think that's the way it's got to be. So however it is that you've got to do with it, a huge stress relief for us is if we get to bed on time. So it's not that last minute, get the last load of laundry and do this. It's like, okay, this is our bedtime. We've just got to, you just have to start shutting it down. If your brain is still active and going and you start worrying about the next day, pull out your notebook and write stuff down. Just set yourself up to be able to, I would say, deal with your night of sleep before dealing with your day tomorrow.
That's one of those, you can't help someone with their mask until you put yours on first.
Yep.
You have to put your mask on first. A good buddy of mine, ours, likes to plan out everything.
Yeah.
Daily, every minute. I mean, and that kind of stuff drives me crazy. But dude's always got a smile on his face because he knows exactly where he's got to be and what he's going to do and doesn't allow anything in.
Exactly.
I can't stand that type of tight schedule, but I can see how if you're good at mastering your timing, and you've tried getting me to do this forever, which managing a schedule is great, but as soon as something unexpected rolls in, your plans are all dumped on. I mean, that's why that would make it worse for me to make plans, have them rocked, and then see them fall apart. It's like, it's worse.
You're like, but I have my 15 minutes mapped out.
3:50 to 4:20 every morning is my time.
Yes.
That's it. That's it. That's it. My entire life, I'm like in a federal prison. I mean, I get 30 minutes of daylight a day, and that's it. And that's my time. I can see how if you're laying a black box up in North Dakota somewhere, if they give me 30 minutes outside, I'm like, I can handle anything. But stress is real. Don't try to hide from it. Don't keep it in. Don't internalize it. Share what you can. Don't try to control everything.
Right.
Cut out and edit the things and people in your life that are making life suck for you.
Yep.
Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Stay off social media. You got to, as much as you can cut out the outside world, the better you're going to be. The less influential you'll be if you're answering emails first thing in the morning or late at night. Jeez Louise, don't respond to email after 7?
Yeah, I was going to say, honestly, like after 7.
Realistic, someone's got a problem and they send an email at 7, you'll probably hear from us that time. But if you're sending crap at 8 o'clock, dude,
don't do it.
No, just don't do it. Don't even look at it. There was a time I used to have it set up on my voicemail that I would call back like within 48 hours. So it's like, hey, if this is a priority, you get 24. If it's not a priority, it's 48. But control your world. That way you are truly responsible. Extreme ownership. It's yours.
Right.
If you let people pick you apart, that's because you let them pick you apart. And I'm saying I'm going to put that on my own desk to make sure I hear that.
Yep.
All right. Any other words and wisdom from a lady of the business world?
I would say the only other thing, I think we briefly touched on it, is if you're stressed out about it and it's really at the end of the day not important, don't share it with people. Write it down instead. And it's kind of like write it down, pretend you put it in a balloon and let it go away. But to share your stresses
I like that.
With other people, sometimes I think that makes it worse.
So you're saying you're talking about sharing, so don't share your stuff.
Just be mindful of what you're going to do to somebody else by sharing some of your stresses.
So let me see if I can think of an analogy for that. you've got dog poop on your shoe. And you walk up to people and you take your shoe off and you wipe some of it off on them. Mm-hmm. Now they've got dog shit on them and you've still got some on your shoe. So you go to the next person trying to wipe off what's left, and the next person and the next person. Meanwhile, everyone in the room's got dog poop on them and you're sitting there and you still have crap on your shoe.
Right.
So we see a lot of this too. Don't bring your garbage into somebody else's day. Mm-hmm. That's what you're getting at, right?
It's exactly, because like
I'll walk away from you.
I think sometimes, like, if you don't say it out loud, that it may eat you alive. And I do this with you, and you're a good sounding board for me to just say this. I am so stressed out about this, and I don't know why. If you are open to that person's opinion and their thoughts on it and how they can help kind of simmer you down, and you know it's not a burden on them at all, then share it. But if it's just like you're just going to bitch to bitch and you're going to share things that all they're going to do is bring that person down, don't do it. Write it down.
That's tough too.
Yes.
Because most of those people can't help it. And they don't even know they're doing it.
Right.
But same goes for rumor mongers. I know we did a show on that one.
Oh, yeah.
So just keep your own stressors to yourself.
Yes.
If you want help, just say, hey, I need help. Can I share something with you?
Yep.
I would like your opinion.
Exactly.
That's another thing. Don't dump without asking for something. I don't want to wear your dirty coat.
No. And share it with people that you know may have been in this situation. Just say, hey, I know that you've been here before. How did you deal with it? Or your life experiences have been bigger or longer than mine. How would you deal with this? But don't just, shout out next door to your neighbor and be like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out over. Like, they don't need it.
They don't care. Nope. And that's, again, the buddy of ours. Don't bring crap. The dude comes in with a smile on his face every day. He does his gratitude walk. He writes down all the things that he's grateful for, and he starts his day right.
Exactly.
Be like that guy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was a tangent, but it's applicable, especially if you can't manage your stress well enough. If you've put in all these tactics and you've mastered it and you're like, I've got a good handle on it, you still need to seek counsel. Go to the person you trust and love and loves you back and will listen to your stuff. Then it's okay to go out and engage them. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you are a child with a fit. Mm-hmm. No one likes little biter kids. All right, so that's you.
You're a biter kid.
That's right.
And when all else fails, scream into a pillow.
Scream into a pillow. Great. Unless you got bad breath. All right. Good show.
Yep.
All right, guys. Try to put some of this in place. Stress and what it does to your body over time is what's going to make you older faster. Mm-hmm. It's going to ruin your life. It's going to rob your joy. And you've got to find a way to look ahead at all the gifts and the blessings that God has put in front of you. Even the bad ones are blessings. It just doesn't look like it when you're in the middle of it. But nothing makes a better story than overcoming a shitty event in your life.
Yes.
It's the best story.
Yep.
So just remember you're building a story.
Mm-hmm.
But there's got to be an end to it. So make sure you're working towards a conclusion on what's driving you crazy. If it's a bad job, quit the job. Mm-hmm. If it's a bad relationship with a friend, kill it. If it's you're in control. Stop letting people dictate your moods for you.
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Have a fantabulous day.
All right, y'all.
All right. We'll see you next one.
All right.
Later.
Bye.